All right, folks, it is Thursday night. This is my first time talking to Chris from Faust. Did I pronounce that right?
Correct, sir.
God damn it, I'm good sometimes. That's killer band from Tennessee, right?
That's right.
Oh, hell yeah. Welcome, man. Thank you for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it. Live from the garage. Deadly. Live from my cat's eating room. There you go. So I went through, and you guys had sent me a couple tunes before. I believe you sent me The Ocean, and I think you sent me another one before for my music podcast that I do. And for some reason, I had forgotten about it. And I went back and re-listened to your EP today, and holy fuck, man! Like, you guys are crazy. When did you start? When did you start making tunes, man?
Oh, thanks, bro. Well, I appreciate that. Man, I come from a family of musicians. My dad was a jazz horn player.
Okay.
My mother is a classically trained vocalist, and she was also a country singer in the 80s. Not like super huge, but
still.
But yeah, I mean, I was experienced. I got to experience life on the road at an early age. Was a tour bus baby.
Yeah.
Nothing glamorous, but still hella fun.
Hella fun.
And music was always a part of our life. I mean, the majority of the pictures of me as a baby are like propped up next to a record player or a speaker, like no joke. My mother was born in the 70s, so I got to experience her record collection. And then, my dad being a jazz guy, I didn't really appreciate jazz that much at the time, but my dad was like, well, you'll like this. And this was, an Albert King record.
Okay.
So I got hooked on blues really early on.
Nice.
Started playing guitar when I was about, I don't know, maybe 12, 13. Started singing around the same age.
Okay.
And when I was 14 or 15, just turned 15, I met my buddy Todd, who was a drummer, and I walked into choir practice, and there was a guy in there named Mike. And I was wearing a Megadeth t-shirt.
Okay.
And he goes, "You listen to Megadeth?" And I was, he invited me over for practice. He had to come pick me up because I couldn't drive yet. And Todd, a buddy who's a drummer, was there playing drums. And I auditioned for that band. It was kind of a metal, like very Tool, Black Album, Justice style Metallica stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was, and that was my first introduction into being into a band and being to a group of people. But the reason I say all that is because Todd, at the time, the drummer for that band, has kind of been like my musical confidant ever since. He's the drummer on this record. Nice. One of my best friends, but also the way that we write music together is hilarious, but I also feel really lucky that, I can sit in a room with him and we can pump out a song in the day. That's how we work. If I'll come up with a riff, he'll be like, "Dude, that was horrible. Never play that again. I'm not going to take it personally. We just move on to the next." So we have a really efficient, creative process. So, I mean, Todd and I have been playing together since 1999.
Okay. That's a long time.
Yeah. We've been in, this will be our third band together.
Nice.
And the band that we were in previously was pretty big regionally. We were in a band called Blackwater James, Southern rock influenced. We were featured in Classic Rock Magazine and Black Velvet back when those were relevant. Nice. People were still printing press.
Right.
And we got to really bust our chop, or we got to really get our chops up. We opened for bands like Queensryche. We played with the guys from Rat. We even played with David Allan Coe.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
how was that?
Scary.
Okay. Yeah.
Very interesting dude. And a real quick story. I remember walking backstage, and he was in a room behind the stage, and this was a club for like 800 people, and there were maybe 1,500 packed in there. It was August in Jackson, Tennessee, which means it was like 104 degrees, and then you had 100% humidity.
So hot. Yeah.
Oh, it was so gross. But David Allan Coe refused to turn the air conditioning on. Said he had a lung problem. So
Yuck.
it was probably like 130 degrees in this place. But I go backstage and I'm like, hey, you just wanted to say thanks, for David for putting us on the bill. And his manager goes, no one talks to David Allan Coe. And you know what? And he goes, you don't say his name on stage. There's only 2 people allowed to say his name on stage, and one's dead, and you ain't the other. I'm like,
holy shit.
So we go
Fair
out on
enough.
stage, and I'm just like, let's give it up for the band that's coming on next, like the whole night. So
that's coming on next. You don't know who it is. Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway, Todd and I have been playing together for a long time. And this EP, he moved out to San Diego for a while.
Okay.
We both kind of I did a full-time job. He kind of became a big deal on Twitch, and he moved back to Nashville. And I was like, dude, let's just get together and start writing. And about 2 weeks, we kind of came up with these riffs. And then a buddy who produced one of the Blackwater James records owns a studio here in town. And he was like, dude, just come on in and we'll just, set the kit up, set the instruments up. And that is what you hear. Revival, aside from the last track, Revival was recorded live. So, I mean, you can hear it.
You can
there's
hear
a guitar left, guitar right. You hear kind of a few screw ups here, every once in a while.
I didn't. I didn't hear any
Oh, well, thanks, man. Thanks. I do.
Well, yeah, you wrote the songs, bro. That's fine. You can just hear.
Yeah.
I always tell that people, it's like, no one's going to know if you fuck something up because they never heard the shit before. You're fine.
But yeah, so
Live,
we recorded it live, and then we recorded each song maybe 3 times. And I was like, well, let's just take that one, like the first or second one. And then I took maybe a month. I didn't have any lyrics written. And I took the songs, put them on my iPhone in GarageBand, stereo mix, took these, and on my way into work, I would sing the song, and I would write it while I'm singing on my way into work and record it. And that's what you get. That's what you hear. And if you listen closely, you can hear like the occasional like horn honking. You can hear me hit speed bumps. But yeah, so it's a really organic record. And
that's awesome.
I highly thought about not releasing it, but we released The Fountain, the first single, and we kind of put it on Twitter, and people were really into it. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's just release it. Let's just, it is what it is. It's a rock and roll record. Let's just see what happens.
It's a damn good record, man. That's really cool to me. So that's just the 2 of you. That's it. That's what Foust is. Well, it's just you and Todd. And
well, on that record, it's me, Todd playing drums, Chris Utley playing bass.
Okay.
Who is the producer and also the studio owner who invited us in.
Right.
A really good friend of ours. That's incredible cool. Bass player. And then the other guitar is a previous bandmate of ours. His name is Dean. And he decided to come in and sit in on those sessions. But yeah, so that's literally what you hear. But the core of the band is myself and Todd.
That's awesome. It's really, really good, man. Some of those solos are fucking crazy. I love that. I love rock and roll, right? I'm a rock and roll guy. And so it was refreshing to hear, because you guys, like, I play it for my wife too. I was like, hey, well, check these guys out. Sometimes you say, well, who are you listening to on your podcast these days, type thing. I was like, well, I got nothing. I had nothing to report. I was like, oh, actually, talk to these guys tonight. Here you go. You'll like them. She's a big classic rock fan, and she likes Guns N' Roses and stuff like that. She's like, oh yeah, that's really, really good. So you got 2 fans in Canada up here now, anyways, buddy. That's good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You guys, with all the pandemic and everything going on, have you guys had a chance to play shows? Probably, I'm assuming not.
Not even close, man. No. Not even close. I mean, Nashville and Tennessee as a whole has been like the epicenter for at least like 3 months. I think we've had more infections than any other place on the planet. At least
wow.
For it was bad. Depending on how you feel about politics or whatever, but like our governor didn't do the best job in the world. But
I hear you.
Combine that with us being a tourist destination, they weren't stopping tourists coming in, and they brought a lot with them. They brought a lot of COVID with them. Yeah. And the majority of our economy is all
tourism based.
It's tourism, entertainment, music, restaurants. So we got hit hard, Luckily, a lot of our more famous venues, like Exit In, The End, a lot of these places have been open, since like the 70s, like Exit In. They've been able to get private funding, so people have been coming in and donating and making sure they can keep their doors open. So that's awesome. But no, we have not been able to play shows. Some people are playing shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it is everywhere else, but some people are playing shows here, and when they end up playing them, they end up getting so much backlash.
Yeah.
Because they end up hosting super spreader events.
See, and I understand. Musicians, that's what you do. You play shows. You have to play shows. You're not playing shows, there's no, while recording is obviously that's fine, but you live to play shows, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So I don't fault anyone if they want to play a show, but if I think with the nature of COVID and everything that they should play by the rules, whatever guidelines the state has set up. Like I saw some asshole on Twitter, I don't know who the fuck it was. It was in Tennessee, I think, and there was like there had to be 50,000 people at this fucking thing, some country show. I can't remember what the fuck it was. And I was like, seriously? Like nobody's wearing a mask? I get it, you're outside, but like that's probably not the best idea when you're that sandwiched in, So I don't know. Like I think if you can do because up here they're not doing none. There's nothing for shows, at least in my city. A lot of venues are probably done, so it's pretty shitty. But it's nothing that nobody would have planned for it, right? So
there's nothing that anybody could have done about this. I mean, well, at least now, but I will say that I think because of the political climate in the U.S. over the last, I'll say 20 years.
I was gonna say, the last 24 hours. Holy shit!
Yeah, dude, what an absolute!
What the fuck is happening, man? Holy fuck! I was on Twitter. I saw some tweet that said something like, "The U.S. went from Kanye or the Kardashians breaking up to Area 51 to Capitol being invaded and back to something in 6 hours." It's like, what in the fuck has happened?
Dude, I went to vote earlier this year, a few months ago, and if you would have told 15-year-old me that Kanye West and Donald Trump would be on the same ballot, I wouldn't have believed you. But
did you vote for Kanye?
Yeah.
I know a couple people that did. They're like, fuck, I just threw it in for Kanye. Fuck it. I was like, okay, well, there you go.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. What's the worst that could happen at this point? Jesus. I don't know.
But yeah, man, like I think, but because of the last 20 years in America, and this is specifically in America, and I'm sure it'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen in the UK as well, where you've had these huge rock scenes, right? But the political climate, the economic climate has just been boiling, and for me, that's like we're ripe for a rock revival. Like that's kind of one of the reasons why I named the record Revival.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a rock revival for myself, but also like I want to be a catalyst. I want to push people, like, get out there and make more music, but I think because of all this anger and all of this division and all of this stuff, you're gonna have some really amazing rock and really amazing metal come out in the next 5 years. And hopefully live music will be like, people are going to be so thirsty for it in 2020. I'm going to say 2022. People are going to be so thirsty for it that you're going to see a huge boom for venues. You're going to see a huge boom in hard rock and metal and live music. So that's what I'm hoping for, at least.
Yeah. I would agree with you. I mean, obviously Nashville, music city, so you've got the scene for sure. But I hope that everybody that talks about how much they miss music and this and that you see online, that they actually get their asses out and see a fucking band, because I know that the music scene up here has been just in the fucking toilet. Local bands, national bands, whatever, get out there. That there's no reason why. Some of the bands I've seen, like, should be playing for 100 people or 50 people or 70 people. You know, it's like, and now you have nothing. So, you know, what are you going to do now? Oh, I wish I would have went to this show. It's like, well, just fucking go if you can. Like, yeah, shows are expensive for sure sometimes, but you should still try to support as much as you can. If you say you love music and, you know, now you're saying you're dying without going to a fucking concert and this and that, it's like, well, then I guess you'll be more prepared next time. Appreciate
what
it.
did you learn?
Yeah. What did we learn about the pandemic? Yeah. No shows. That sucked, didn't it? Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I will say that I do hope, and this is going to make me sound kind of elitist, I guess, but what the fuck ever, who cares? Like, hopefully the pandemic will have forced a lot of bands to rehearse more and like take a look at themselves, you know?
I'm with you.
And that's me personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can go back and listen to my old records and be like, you know what? I need to rehearse.
It's gut check time, right, dude? It's like, you know what? I can do so much fucking better than this. If I want to really get back out there and do this, I got to step my shit up. It's a huge realization.
Got the time.
But a lot of people don't do that, or a lot of people say, "What if I'm going to start a fucking band right now during the pandemic?" You know what I mean? It's like, why would you start one during the pandemic when you can't do nothing? Like, okay, express yourself, but I feel like you should just wait and stay out the fucking way for the guys that are going to be coming behind you that were there first. You know, that's my thought, and that's elitist too. Obviously, if you want to pick up a fucking guitar, do your thing, do what you got to do. I'm just
right.
There's not going to be much left there for you, bud. Not right now. Just practice, well, you know, get tight, and then you go for it.
At least in Nashville, and in a lot of places that we've played at across the U.S., live music was kind of on the downfall, you know, before the pandemic. And I think one of the reasons it was on the downfall is that, I think up into maybe the early 90s, you could go to a club or go to a venue, and that venue would be like the place to go for rock, the place to go for punk, the place to go for metal. And the clubs did a hell of a job promoting and building their scene. And what's shifted over the last 20 years, the venues, I think, have relied heavily on the artists promoting their shows, and
yes,
and maybe there's a potential that if I were a business owner and I owned a venue, I would be doing as much work as possible to promote that venue as the place to be, not rely on the artists playing. But one thing that does is it gives the venue a little more power to say, hey, you guys go home and rehearse for a couple of months, then come back and maybe audition, Now, my dad's a jazz player, so that probably explains a lot of how I like interpret and think about music. But I don't know, like, to me, I think that a lot of bands, I mean, and you got to get out there and you got to get said no to, and you got to get
times
shit thrown at you. I mean, if you like, I mean, I've played behind chicken wire. Like, I have legitimately done this. I have had beer bottles thrown at me. I have been hit. I've been hit with a padlock. I mean,
Jesus Christ.
Well,
that's fucking rank. What the hell was that about?
Our agent booked us to open for a punk band.
Okay.
And I was like, and we didn't know that. And we get there and we're like, holy shit. I started seeing like the mohawks and like
more piercings and tattoos than skin. Yeah.
the plaid cutoffs with the combat boots. And I'm like, this is gonna go. I'm like, we're gonna get eaten alive. Yeah. And we played 15 minutes, packed up, and got the hell out of there. But I think that the whole pandemic is going to give an opportunity for bands to woodshed. And I think because of the way music has existed and evolved into a more digital space, it's kind of made people think they don't have to do that anymore. And I mean, I'm sorry, like all the greats, like they got great by starting off and practicing 3 to 6, 7 hours a day. That's what it takes.
That's what it takes. Yeah. And there, there's a whole culture of the bedroom musicians. I am one for sure. I get it. Absolutely. It's been, and there's a great place for that too. But if you're wanting to just do that, then that's fine and you'll be okay. But if you're taking, if I'm taking my lazy ass bedroom recording ethic and thinking I'm going to do something with it on stage. It's like, no, you got to fucking practice. You got to put the time in. So you can sit there and write something and record it and then just walk away and leave it and never fucking be prepared to do it live, right? So you got to tighten up the screws for sure. Big time. Yeah, absolutely. But just to go back to what you're saying about venues and how they would leave it up to bands to promote their show and stuff like that. Like the one venue that we had here was kind of like a catch-all venue. It'd have every fucking genre. Like you could see Sepultura or Soulfly one night, and then you could see like, I don't know, country the next night and whatever. It was just like cool. It was really cool to see all the different genres like that. But what I didn't like, and this has nothing to do with the venue, but this is just one promoter that would come through. It was a hip hop promoter, and they would say that if you wanna open for this band, I'll put you on, but you have to sell X amount of tickets. Okay, and that's fine. I get how that works, but that doesn't work in my city because my city is pretty small. So it's like, so you're wanting each opening act to sell upwards of 50 tickets in a small hip hop scene where they all have the same fucking people they'd be selling tickets to, in a venue that has maybe 300-400 capacity. You've got 8 opening acts, 50, you're over that, you're over your capacity right there. Like, what do you do? And then they would make you sign a fucking contract that said whatever you didn't sell, you would pay for. And I got asked if I would open for that, and they told me that, and I said, you can go fuck yourself. I don't fucking pay to play. I will play for free. I have many. I play for free, but I'm not going to fucking pay to play. I don't give a fuck who it is. If you ask me to open for a show, I'll come and I'll do the show and I'll have a good goddamn time, but I'm not fucking paying for my spot. Fuck you.
No.
Not here. If I, that's just not how it works for me. If you want me, I'll go, but I'm not going to fucking pay my way. That's just, and maybe that's an ego thing, but like for like an opening spot for like a fucking 15-minute long set, I'm not going to pay you fucking $800 to go pay a fucking set. If tickets are $70 a piece and you want someone to pay for like 80 tickets if they don't sell any, that's a lot of fucking money to just go for 15 minutes. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, what is going to be the upside of that? Like, and this is where my business mind
because you're in music marketing, right? You got it.
Yeah.
Does this make sense to you, sir? Yeah. Someone who knows what they're doing, help these people. Jesus Christ.
And now you could make an argument. Let's say that you're an opening band, right? Yeah. And there's a promoter that is, I'm just going to throw a name out. Let's say that the Struts are coming through town and they're playing for 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys can hop on the bill for $500. Okay. So if there's 10,000 people there, I know that to make that up, I'm going to have to sell X amount of merch, right? So like, if you can do the math and you know that you've got enough merch to make up the difference and then maybe a little more, or do a kick-ass job at connecting with fans while you're there, getting their email addresses, following them on Instagram and Twitter, and turning that one event into like a long-term brand loyalty play. Yep. Where you get people buying multiple items over the course of like 3 months or 6 months.
Then you're good to go.
Then you're good to go. But but like when someone's going to charge you $200 to get on a club gig that has 50 people, like come on, like that does nothing but ruin the scene.
Right. Well, it's a big city promoter, right? So they think this is how it works in like Vancouver. Well, we're not Vancouver. We're like 300,000 people total in our city, right? You go to Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, Toronto, they have millions of people. So yeah, you can do that shit there maybe because you have the pull, but it's not that place, man. It's not the place here. You have to know what you're doing. You have to know your market in every city you go to, right? I would think. And a lot of promoters don't. And maybe it's impossible, but I would think that if you want to make a run at it, you might know that, okay, well, this leg, and that's why shows don't come through here as much. Because like, when you get to this leg, there's probably not going to be that many fucking people there. So we'll just either skip it or we'll lower expectations entirely. You know?
Well, yeah, and I've seen the discussion a lot on Twitter, where I think, once again, I keep saying this, over the last like 5-10 years, big bands haven't maybe done the best job of nurturing younger acts, and with bands that I've gone to see, like trying to think, the last time that I saw an opening act with a bigger band, because it's either like you get these bundle deals, like where you go to like, like Crew Fest or Motley Crue Fest, like when I went and saw that, and it was like 20 bands, but you knew every single one of them.
Right.
They all had top 10 hits. But the last time where I saw
like a local
headliner
opener and a headliner, right?
Oh yeah. And this was I saw Buck Cherry come through town in 2000 in maybe 9 or 10, and they had Blackstone Cherry open for them. And Blackstone Cherry is from just right up the road in Kentucky. They're like an hour's drive from here.
Yeah, they're a great band. I like them.
And I was just like, holy shit, these guys are insane.
I would go to that show to see Blackstone Cherry over Buck Cherry any day.
Well, I mean,
maybe old Buck Cherry from like 99 or before 2000. I would go for that. But
man,
Blackstone Cherry.
The original lineup is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
I will say though that Stevie D, the guitar player that joined them on the 15 record, he is ridiculous. I mean, he's like a little Angus Young.
Yeah.
A little Angus Young.
Yeah.
But Keith, the original guitar player and one of the songwriters for Buck Cherry, man, I always loved his style. In fact, he actually just recently did a video with Gibson, going over his guitar collection.
Oh yeah.
And I'm completely blown away. He is such a gearhead, and his knowledge is so deep about guitars and amps. It's just mind blowing. It's like I don't know, like blew me away. But anyway, was blown away by Blackstone Cherry, and I've been a fan ever since. And I just wish more bands, bigger bands, would do that, would introduce these, but I mean, that's a bigger discussion where like where labels used to stack concerts with their artists. Like you've got your headliner, and then you've got 4 or 5 opening acts, but
who are all on the same label. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're developing the younger ones, and there's no artist development anymore, which to me I think is a huge mistake, because you're not developing this talent. Otherwise, you're leaving it for them to develop themselves, and I think that has kind of ultimately dropped the overall quality of music. I don't know.
Well, do you think like a younger band that's just starting out, maybe they're getting some representation for the first time, that they might, they should have somebody kind of trying to develop them a little bit and put them in the right direction, and maybe give them some tips and shit like that, as opposed to just like, yeah, just fucking go for it, boys, and see what happens. Well, I think if you want to make a serious run at it, you need some sort of representation.
I mean, you need help.
You need a little bit of help, yeah.
And there's 2 ways you can get help. One, you can get help from someone else, or you're going to have to develop those skills yourself and help yourself, which is really, really difficult, because the music industry is so convoluted. The way that it operates is very bizarre from any other industry. I saw a quote once, forget who it was from, but it's one of the only industries where you can have one success recoup 99 failures. So where you have record labels signing 99 artists for whatever reason and shelling out thousands of dollars on recording and advances. And then you get one, Ariana Grande or a Lady Gaga, and then they just covered all of those 99. Yeah. But, nobody goes into, well, why did those 99 fail? Nobody ever goes into audit those reasons, as far as I know. Yeah. So I think there's 2 ways to do it. I think that now it's a little bit harder to make it as a live band, right, wrong, and different. It's really hard to go out there and just pound the pavement, like you could up until like the mid 90s. Because I think that you could go out and just play live and build a crowd and a following, and That's almost impossible now because everyone is so attached to their devices. Now, whether how you feel about that or not, that's just kind of the reality.
That's very true. Yeah,
I mean, and like that's what's happening. And I think that there's ways to engage people. That's why, like I've kind of latched onto Twitter, and we've grown the majority of our fan base through Twitter. But the reason I like it is because I can have direct interaction with fans that have turned into almost friends.
Yep.
And that's arguably a more efficient way of spreading your music than going to a town you've never been to, hoping to God people show up, So
yeah,
it's not as fun.
Well, but you're right. Like that's honestly how I've had success doing this, is just Twitter, meeting dudes like you. I think it was Ollie at TFSC said, you got to check out this band, and it was you guys. So I fucking love this band, and he's in Germany. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll check it out, right? So that's, and that way, like, it makes the world a hell of a lot of a smaller place in a good way,
Yeah,
because everybody's kind of in the same indie music scene online in that sense, and it's cool. There's a lot of talent out there for sure, and like you said, it's a good way that you can have direct interactions with people, and that's what people like. That makes people say like, hey, this guy's fucking cool. I'll give him my $20 or whatever.
Yeah, there's two ways that you can approach that. You can either be all in and be like the authentic, like kind of like how we've done it. We want to go out and engage our people, or you can do what I call the KISS route, where it's all masks. It's all, no one knows who you are. It's all mystery. Now, both can work. Both can work. I mean, obviously, KISS is huge.
Yeah.
Love them or hate them, like they're massive. And,
yeah, they're huge.
You can build that mystery behind, but there aren't a ton of people that are doing that. That's a little bit harder to do nowadays. But so yeah, if you're going to go out there and be a band, like you're going to have to use social. You're going to have to engage with people. And honestly, I think that's where a lot of where kind of like the rubber meets the road with people that want to continue to make music.
Yeah.
Because you have to interact.
Yeah.
You have to. You can't. You can't. You don't just sit in your basement and expect to make it. You have to do something. Where it used to be you play live, now it's like, well, especially now because we're in a pandemic, now it's let's grind a little bit on social and
that's right.
Meet some people that way.
Yeah. But yeah, exactly. And that's, so if you're so you do marketing. So what sort of advice do you have for, I guess, how are artists supposed to navigate this pandemic when you can't go play shows? How are you pushing yourselves or whatever to people? Besides, is there anything like live streams, that sort of thing?
I mean, we haven't done a live stream thing yet because I don't. This is just for us. Is that we don't think that the investment to do that.
You need a lot of gear to do that.
To do it. Yeah. A lot of gear. I mean, I would have to like quadruple my internet connection to make it.
Fucking rates, yeah.
There's a lot of things that we would have to invest in that had we started this project 5 years ago and had a solid fan base, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
But for us, the economics don't really work. However, bands are, music has turned into a game of content, right? Just like podcasting, just like any type of retail, you have to produce content online. What a lot of bands don't understand is that you are innately a content machine. You just don't know it. So you can record rehearsals. You can record, you record a rehearsal and then you can release those songs, mix them and release them. And you can do all that from this.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do acoustic stuff, really simple. And you can release those tracks. Then you can do, you can overlay that with, old photos or videos to create video content. You can make lyric videos. I didn't know how to make a lyric video. I mean, I knew how to use like Illustrator, Photoshop, the Creative Suite for Adobe, but I didn't really get into After Effects all that much. Right. And so I just was like, well, okay, I guess today I'll learn how to make a lyric video. And what did I do? I went to YouTube and I typed in
How
how
to
to
make a lyric video.
and
You
it
can
took
do
me
anything
all
on YouTube.
it took me all of 3 hours to learn how to make a lyric video. And I literally am making another one right now for one of our tracks. And then like I built our website, I coded that. We try and release these like behind the song features. So like every couple of weeks we'll release a little story about like what the song is about, the lyrics, put the lyric video in there and just talk about it. And then I can take pieces of that blog post and turn it into like static images, like little like pull quotes, and put that on Instagram. I mean, there's just so much you can do innately. Like for a lot of other industries don't have that capability. They have to go out and search for content, you know.
That's right.
But you're a content machine. Like just as a musician, just go for it.
Anything can be content.
Anything.
People might say, I don't even know what I should do. It's like, dude, you could walk into fucking 7-Eleven and buy a fucking Slurpee and just say, whatever, tweet it, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're fine. Hashtag whatever. That's content. And people are like, hey, that's awesome. I like that kind of Slurpee. He's cool. Like, retweet. You're fucking
done.
Oh, look, there's a band. Oh, who are they? You know, like, right? Like it's literally
I've gotten so many followers on Twitter. So many. We've only have like a couple thousand, but like we've gotten a lot of our followers from asking, you know, who did it better. And every like week or two, I'll like, hey, who did it better? And today I just did one. I'll make it legit. So I posted one like maybe like 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And I said, who did it better? Out of these 4 rock and roll vocalists, who is your favorite?
Oh, right. It was ZZ Top and I can't remember who else.
Oh, no. That was a different one. That was this one.
God damn it. I didn't look at the data.
Well, this one says Axl Rose, Chris Cornell, Chester Bennington, and Miles Kennedy. And like, I know that these artists have huge followings online. Yeah. You know, so like, and I think I posted that like 2 hours ago. I've already got 1,600 impressions, 275 engagements, and I didn't have to do anything but type that, you know? So like, you got to get out of your head. Yeah. You know, you got to just experiment and you know what? Act like an idiot for a month, see what works, you know? Like,
you'll watch your numbers pile up.
Yeah.
I started with like fucking 3 followers on Twitter. Now I'm at 6,000 and something. Like, it's ridiculous. And that's organic. Like, I don't pay for fucking follows and shit. I don't follow robots or whatever either. Like, there's some weird fucking accounts you see on there, you know. But mostly it's all music people. But the answer to your question is Chris Cornell, just so you know.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Obviously.
I mean, that dude.
Rest in peace.
I mean, for real though, out of those 4, I mean, he has the most perfect catalog from Soundgarden, Audio Slave. Yeah. I mean, even the stuff with Temple of the Dog.
Yeah. Temple of the Dog is fantastic.
Yeah. His solo stuff, shit. His covers, like, I mean,
his covers are fantastic.
Patience, his cover of Patience, like, brings me to tears. Absolutely gorgeous.
Beautiful.
But my second in that 4 is Miles Kennedy. And the reason why I say Miles Kennedy is because I heard him in his first big act, Mayfield 4, and I was like, who is this dude?
You can sing like a fuck too, man.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, he's definitely more of like your, not that he is, someone's going to like call me out on this, but like, to me, he's going to fall into that category of like the Ronnie James Dios, the Bruce Dickinsons, like these more like tonal singers. Yeah. Like, you wouldn't throw Axl Rose into that group because of the way that he sings, his tone, you know. But he's like a true vocalist. I mean, I wouldn't even put Chris Cornell in that group because Chris Cornell, Chris Cornell isn't even my favorite of that era. My favorite of that era is Lane Staley. Alice in Chains is what got me into like heavier music, heavy rock. And I mean, Them Bones. Yep. I remember hearing Them
Rooster.
Bones. Epic stuff, man. Epic stuff.
Yeah. 100%. Fuck yeah. That's cool, man. I like that. See, I love that. I love that grunge era though too, like Pearl Jam, and I wasn't a huge Nirvana guy. Like,
No.
and maybe people will say you're fucking. It's like that.
Nah.
To me, it wasn't anything super good. Like it was 3 chords on a fucking shitty guitar and just whatever, away you went. And a dude screaming.
Well,
it didn't appeal to me at that point in my life. And it still doesn't that much. But Pearl Jam still does. Soundgarden still does. Temple of Dog still does. All that timeless shit, like Blind Melon, that sort of thing. I know they're not super grunge, but that sort of stuff still. I still like that stuff. And Alice in Chains, of course.
For me, the best thing that came out of Nirvana was Dave Grohl. So,
Foo Fighters. There you go.
Yeah. But, Foo Fighters. Oh my God, what is the? He did one record. Was
it Them Vultures?
No, also fantastic because I'm a huge Queen of the Stone Age fan.
Yeah.
So I love Josh Homme. Yeah. In fact, I was called one time. I still can't decide if this is an insult or not, but someone once called me in a review a neutered Josh Homme, and I was like, "Thank you."
I'll take the Josh Homme.
I was like, do I sing higher than Josh Homme?
Maybe
or I'll take it.
Either way, you're still in the conversation with it. That's fine.
But totally digress. Anyway, like to me, Dave Grohl is what made Nirvana really interesting. I mean, because to me, dude, one way to make or break a band, one of the easiest ways to make or break a band is the drummer. Mm-hmm. If there is an energy, that's why I have been blessed to have Todd Slosher, be my drummer, or me be his singer, depending on who you ask.
There you go.
Yeah. But he's all energy, man. He's a fucking Energizer bunny. Mm-hmm. And we always would joke on stage because we would always try and outdo one another, with it on stage, but that made it fun, anyway, yeah. So that kind of brings me back to I listen to a ton of different stuff, and I think that's one thing that bands today need to do more of.
Yeah.
And the thing is that now the tools exist where you can find all the music.
There is no fucking excuse anymore to not check out something maybe that's outside your comfort zone that you might think is like, oh my God, like why didn't I hear this before? That's awesome. Must have missed these guys when they came out. Like that was me for Audio Slave. Because I was a huge Rage Against the Machine fan. I was a huge Cornell fan, but I was like, I don't know, because Rage Against the Machine was better. I thought, don't care for that. Too late, of course. And I was like, go back now. It's like, fuck. Audio Slave was so fucking good. The fuck was I thinking? I'm an idiot. Because they were fantastic. That's too bad.
Oh no, those Audio Slave records from like a production standpoint, it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. Perfect. Everything sounds perfect.
Perfect. Yep.
But like I'm a huge I love Black Label. I'm a huge Zakk Wylde fan. Even Pride and Glory.
Yeah.
I love Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Huge Lamb of God fan.
What'd you think of their self-titled? That self-titled album, fantastic.
To me, I saw them open for Metallica. That's where I was introduced.
Okay.
I saw them open for Metallica, and I was just like against the rail. Like, what is this? I'd never heard anything like it.
Yeah, Randy, but once again, going for it. Yeah.
drummer is key in that band.
Mr. Adler at the time. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, like, and you can take things from all of that. You can be influenced by all of that stuff, and it's out there. Just go listen to it.
Just go check it out. Yeah. I miss, there used to be a really good CD store here called A&B Sound. Rest in peace. But that was a place that I always liked. I miss how buddies would just be like, hey, go check out this CD or go check out this band or whatever. Now it's so simple. It's like, hey, but I find like people don't tell people to listen to music anymore unless it's your own. Like, I don't have any suggestions from friends to be like, hey man, that new whatever album I think you might like, you should check it out. Like that used to be like a thing that happened all the fucking time. You go to the CD store and you just check it out and buy it. You know?
Oh, dude, like
or
my
reading
mom.
magazines like Hit Parader
Yeah.
and Revolver and all that. I just like look through there and like read about the albums. I was like, oh fuck, next time I'm up in town, I'll fucking grab this one. You know, you have to like go searching for it and shit. That was like fucking fun. That was the best.
Yeah,
Now it's like, what is that? Okay.
Cool.
Nice. Well, you know, not gonna share it, fuck you. You know, like
Yeah.
But it's done.
Yeah, dude. Like my mom used to drop me off on Saturdays at Tower Records here in Nashville.
Tight.
And I would just go to one of the clerks and he'd be like, there's all the new stuff.
Yeah.
And I would take the cassettes or the CDs, you know, and they were digitized, so I could like scan the barcode
and you could listen
and then
to
I could listen to them.
Yep.
And all day. It's that weird ass kid sitting on the floor at the record store with that. Yeah. All day.
With the cans.
Yep. I miss that, dude. Oh, I miss that.
I miss that a lot. It's a lost fucking art, or the gamble. Okay, I know one song on here is good, but fuck, I'm going for it. Or, I don't know who this is. That artwork looks awesome. Going for it,
right? God, dude, the artwork. That's why I think that's part of the reason why I like metal so much.
Yeah.
I mean, like Sepultura, like the Arise cover. I'm like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or you know, any of the Slayer records, or any of the like the anything Nordic.
Yeah.
Any type of Nordic metal, like
Amon Amarth and shit.
Yes, please give me that shit all day. You just look at the cover, you're like, that's gonna be brutal. That's gonna be amazing.
That's good. That's good. That's not good. That's really good. Yeah. I remember walking into that store one time, and this guy, one of the clerks that I always see there, he was like, "Hey man," I was like, "Hey, what's up?" He was like, "You want to check this album out, dude? Just buy it. Just fucking buy it. You'll be happy." It was a Nail Bomb album, Nail Bomb. So Max Cavalera and a little side project he did, and I just took his word for it, and I was fucking happy I did. I was like, hell yeah, that's still a great album. That was like '94. It was fucking released now. But I've had Max on here actually a couple times, 2 times now.
No way.
Yeah, dude, he's the shit. He's the fucking shit. And that's the same thing, like Sepultura, Soulfly, anything like that. It's just always perfect. I remember one time I went up there to buy a Dry Kill Logic CD, and it was the last one on the fucking store. And I looked for it, saw it was there. I was like, okay, I'll be right back for that. I gotta go over here and look at something else. And then when I got there, some assholes looking at this CD, and I was like, fuck, don't buy it, you fucker.
Put it down. Put it.
Yeah. And he's like, hey, do you know if this band's any good? And I was like, nah, man, they fucking suck. Don't even bother. And he like put it back, and he walked. I just fucking grabbed it and ran to the fucking toes. Like, I'm out of here. Fuck you.
Oh my God, that's
one
amazing.
of my favorite CDs. So there you go. Suck it. Yeah.
But yeah, dude. I mean, it's funny because, you know, now I've kind of like circled back. I'm by no means like a vinyl snob, but I've kind of like gotten back into like getting vinyl now because people are selling it again. And I got 2 daughters. Yeah. And the oldest one, she's 4. And I let her like take these. I'm like, no, this is how this works, babe. Like, and I'll let her put them on. I'll show her how to work the needle. And now she's like, Dad, let's play some records. I'm like, hell yes.
That's I got 2 boys. I got a 4-year-old and I got a 2.5-year-old. That's the same thing. My 2-year-old can't fucking get enough of records at all. I'm sponsored by a fucking record shop in here in Canada. FunkyMooseRecords.ca. What's up, fellas? You go to that website, you type Limbo at the checkout, you get 10% off. There you go.
Ooh.
Got a little crate of records. Dude, they got a fucking $2 bin. A $2 bin of records. You'll find such gold. I bought fucking, oh, screw it. One second.
Yeah, just pull them out. Whip it out.
What's it? I got this for like $8.
What?
Yeah, it's fucking tight. They're good, dude. This one I'm the most proud of. Fuck's sakes, this is so good. This is I don't know if you can see that. The Crusaders, jazz band from the 70s. Okay, 2 LPs, 4 songs aside, and this cost me $2, and it is the most beautiful fucking shit I've heard. You should check it out. It's good. And that's on YouTube, I think, actually. The best of the Crusaders. it's old, but it's there, you know. And then one more, just because I have to. I want to have a show where I just talk records with people. There you go. This is my album of the year. Kill or Be Killed. You know those guys?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fucking that's like, and that one I paid for. So there you go. That was like $50, but they had to import that shit for me. But they found it. I said, "Can you find this record for me, guys?" "Oh yeah, we can." "Oh, good. Thank you."
That's awesome, though. That's like, there's Jack White has a record store down here, and there's some other cool ones. There's there's the Groove, which is a really cool record store in East Nashville. There's Phonolux. That's the place that you go to for like all the like 80s metal.
Nice.
And like late 70s metal or hard rock. They're the ones that carry all that awesome stuff. But yeah, it's so fun, you know, and it's cool to finally be able to go back to these places and just sift through, like, even the smell.
Yeah, oh
right?
yeah. Just flipping through the racks. Yeah. I love that. There's a store here, like a thrift store here, that just has like walls of fucking vinyl for like $1. And when this fucking pandemic is over, I'm heading right there.
Right.
That's it. And I'm just going to throw it in the fucking cart. I don't even know. I got 30 fucking records there. Fuck you. I don't even know what's in here, but I'm just going.
Don't know. Don't care.
Don't care. I'll find something. Yeah.
There's bound to be something good in here.
I'll have one good one in here. I got, you know, this is, speaking of weird shit, this one more. This is a band that I've never heard of in my life. The Peppermint Rainbow. What this is like 60s sci pop. It's like 60s psychedelic pop. It's fucking cool. It's really cool. There you go.
It looked like it looked like a like Dawn of the Dead type of vibe going on the cover. Yeah.
And then this is the bit.
Ooh, those ties.
Yeah, dude. That's the era, right? So there you go. It's fantastic though. That was one I had seen on the website a lot, and I just, you know, I kind of just didn't bother buying it. But this month I was like, I'm gonna finally see if it's still there, and I fucking bought it. I checked it out on YouTube. It was really good. So there you go. Check out record stores and keep them in business, you fuckers. I heard vinyl had a crazy month actually last month, like the best selling month of all time or something.
Yeah, something insane like that.
That. It's like they sold the most vinyl records ever last month or something. It's like, that's nuts.
I mean, it's cool though that you can, because it's a different experience. And
yeah, it's an experience. That's just it. Like I'm a guy. Like I got my YouTube music or whatever, this and that for sure. But when I want to actually, it's like such a ritual for me to just pull the fucking record out, set the needle, and just sit there and listen to the whole fucking thing, and then flip the record over when it's done. Not just like, no, you know, keep skipping songs and shit on your phone.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, pour a glass of scotch, throw a record on, sit in my chair, and just lean. And I get up one time to flip.
Yeah, that's it. And you're there. Yeah.
And it's relaxing, cathartic. Yeah.
It's the best. Buy vinyl, people. Try it out.
Just do it.
Just do it. I won't even sit there and be elitist about that. If you want to get back into enjoying fucking music, try it on vinyl. CDs are good too. I like CDs. I got a bunch of CDs somewhere, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If I had to pick my favorite physical media, it's got to be vinyl for sure.
Definitely. I mean, I'm kind of upset that Laserdisc wasn't bigger, but
made some bad choices with that. Yeah.
Satellite dishes. Oh man.
Fucking Laserdisc.
You find them occasionally in like our thrift stores up here. Like you'll see boxes of them occasionally.
Just buy one just to say I still have a fucking Laserdisc. Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't watch it.
I can't watch it. Nothing. They'll rig something up for that. There's got to be some way they can do it.
Oh, you know it because analog recording is making a big comeback. And there's a studio here in town called 1979, and they only have gear made in the studio pre-1979. Now I'm definitely not like an analog snob because I record to Pro Tools. you know, I was taught to record. I was audio engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I was taught on tape, and then you know that was right when Pro Tools became like exploded.
Mm-hmm.
But man, recording to tape, like to me, that's like the goal. But the thing is you got to be really, really good to record the tape.
Isn't that such
like,
do you literally have to like fucking cut the piece that you don't want? Like, how does that work?
Or
if you fuck
or
something
play
up,
it right.
well, yeah, but if you have to like make changes, and it's like, fuck, gonna need more tape. God damn you, you fucker! Get out of the studio.
Like the Black Album, you know, and all the stuff that that Bob Rock was doing. Like him and his crew were like the team of tape cutting,
mm-hmm.
and like they'd have like was it like 24 tracks on 2-inch tape, or I can't remember the exact size, but tape. So you have 24 tracks, and you'd have to know exactly which tracks. Like, hey, I like the kick drum on that verse,
but I'm cutting this one.
Or I like the kick. And then there's that little section that you pull the tape out, and you're there with a razor blade, just hoping to God you don't screw it up.
Oh my God!
And the thing is, there's stories of guys working on big records like the Black Album, and you know these huge where, like, they sneeze, and they slice the tape in half, and like just dropping their keys, like they're like, I'm sorry, they drop their keys and walk away, like they resign on the spot.
Oh my God!
But yeah, dude, that's totally how it was. I mean, unless you just, you know, because for a while that wasn't a thing. Like you recorded the tape, and what you got is what you got.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that. You know, we're gonna play this song, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm not discrediting any like overdubbing because we did it, and but man, the musicianship that went into recording, you know, a band with like a horn section and then a string section, and you're doing all of it live onto tape, you know, like how good do you have to be to do that? You know, like
very good. Yeah.
And the thing is like every time someone makes you don't want to be the person to make a mistake, because then you're just there longer and costing, you know, thousands of more dollars. So you don't want to be the one to screw up.
That's right.
You know, one of the cool, there's a cool documentary called Muscle Shoals. Okay. And if you haven't seen it, like go watch it tomorrow. It's about the Muscle Shoals, the Fame recording studios and Muscle Shoals recording studio in Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Okay.
And all these huge records are recorded there. Like the first Leonard Skinner records are recorded there. Aretha Franklin's big stuff was recorded there. I mean, the list is incredible, but it's a documentary called Muscle Shoals, and this guy built this studio from the ground up, and just phenomenal. Homework, everyone listening.
Muscle Shoals, got it. That's fucking awesome. Yeah, I'll check that out. I'd like to see that. That's awesome, man. Well, shit, dude. It was a pleasure talking to you tonight. I have to fucking do
likewise, brother. Likewise. Yeah.
Take the last couple minutes. I love talking music. Fucking right. You take the last few minutes. Tell these guys where we can find you online, if you got any merch for sale, anything like that, whatever you want to do. Promote away.
Absolutely. Okay. If we have to.
Anything you want.
You can find us on all the streaming platforms. Just look for Foust. There's only one other dude. His name is Tim Foust.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, that's not you. Yeah, you're not Foust.
Yeah. You're not Foust.
You're not the band I'm supposed to see.
Yeah. Faustband.com. And you can find us on all the social media platforms at Foust Band. So Twitter, Foust Band, Instagram, Foust Band, Facebook, Foust Band. Let's keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Give them a follow.
Guitar left, guitar right. Yeah.
Guitar left, guitar right. There you go. Check out the album, man. Revival. That's dope. It's a good EP, man. It's fucking
Thanks,
great.
Bro.
I was pleasantly surprised with how good it was, and I felt bad for not remembering the ocean until I heard it again. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's a good song. But no, it was good. Well, good luck with the move, and hope everybody stays safe. All the best to you and the family, dude.
Likewise. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
We'll talk to you again.
Sounds good.
Peace out.